Your process of eliminating the body as not I, or the breath as not I, is only intellectual. It is as far as the intellect can go. Indeed, all the scriptures mention the process only to guide the seeker to know the truth. The truth cannot be directly pointed out. Hence, this intellectual process. You see, the one who eliminates all the not I cannot eliminate the I. To say, I am not this, or I am that, there must be the I. This I is only the ego or the I thought. After the rising up of this I thought, all other thoughts arise. The I thought is therefore the root thought. If the root is pulled out, all others are at the same time uprooted. Therefore, seek the root I. Question yourself, who am I? Find out its source, and then all these other ideas will vanish, and the pure self will remain. You ask how to do it. The I is always there, in deep sleep, in dream, and in wakefulness. The one in sleep is the same as that who speaks now. There is always the feeling of I. Otherwise, do you deny your existence? You do not. You say, I am. Find out who is. Meditating by repeating neti, neti, not this, not this. That is not meditation. Find the source. You must reach the source without fail. the false I will disappear, and the real I will be realized. The former cannot exist apart from the latter. There is now the wrong identification of the self with the body, senses, and so on. You proceed to discard these, and this is neti. This can be done only by holding to the one which cannot be discarded. That is iti, that which is. To inquire, who am I, really means trying to find out the source of the ego or the I thought. You are not to think of other thoughts, such as, I am not this body. Seeking the source of I serves as a means of getting rid of all other thoughts. We should not give scope to other thoughts, but must keep the attention fixed on finding out the source of the I thought by asking, as each thought arises, to whom the thought arises. If the answer is, I get the thought, continue the inquiry by asking, who is this I, and what is its source? You are not to keep on repeating, who am I, so as to make a mantra of it. Who am I is not a mantra. It means that you must find out where in you arises the I thought, which is the source of all other thoughts. You should also not meditate by repeating, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. This inquiry is not meant for thinking, I am Brahman. I is known to everyone. Brahman abides as I in everyone. Find out the I. The I is already Brahman. You need not think so. Simply find out the I. After the rise of the I thought, there is the false identification of the I with the body, the senses, the mind, and so on. I is wrongly associated with them, and the true I is lost sight of. In order to sift the pure I from the contaminated I, this discarding is mentioned in the sastras. But it does not mean exactly discarding the non-self. It means the finding of the real self. The real self is the infinite I. That I is perfection. It is eternal. It has no origin and no end. The other I is born and also dies. It is impermanent. See to whom the changing thoughts belong. They will be found to arise after the I thought. Hold the I thought, and they subside. Trace back the source of the I thought. The self alone will remain. Other methods apart from self-enquiry are meant for those who cannot take to the investigation of the self. Even to repeat, I am Brahman, or think of it, a doer is necessary. Who is it? It is I. Be that I. It is the direct method. The other methods also will ultimately lead everyone to this method of the investigation of the self. You are aware of the I, yet you say your troubles are not ended. This is because the I thought is not pure. It is contaminated with the association of the body and senses. See to whom the trouble is. It is to the I thought. Hold it. Then the other thoughts vanish. Think I, and hold to that one thought, to the exclusion of all others. So long as you seek to know how to realize, this advice is given to find yourself. But your seeking the method denotes your separateness. Ask yourself, who affirms? There must be one to do it. Find that one. Meditation implies mental imagery, whereas investigation is for the reality. The former is objective, whereas the latter is subjective. The self alone is real. All others are unreal. The mind and intellect do not remain apart from you. The Bible says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is the sole requisite for the realization of the self as God. In the question, who am I refers to the ego. Trying to trace it and find its source, we see it has no separate existence, but merges in the real I. You see the difficulty. Self-inquiry is different in method from the meditation, I am Shiva, or I am he. I rather lay stress upon self-knowledge, for you are first concerned with yourself before you proceed to know the world and its Lord. The Soham meditation, or I am Brahman meditation, is more or less a mental thought. But the quest for the self I speak of is a direct method, indeed superior to the other meditation. The moment you start looking for the self and go deeper and deeper, the real self is waiting there to take you in. Then, whatever is done is done by something else, and you have no hand in it. In this process, all doubts and discussions are automatically given up, just as one who sleeps forgets, for the time being, all their cares. When one is sufficiently developed, one becomes naturally convinced. Various answers are given, but whatever the previous development, self-inquiry quickens the development. However, the mind will always throw up difficulties in the form of doubts and arguing. It wants a certain theory to satisfy itself. Really, no theory is necessary for one who seriously desires to approach God or to realize their own true being. This method of self-inquiry is the direct and easy method. When going after other things that are alien to us is so easy, how can it be difficult for one to go to one's own self? You ask, where to begin? There is no beginning and no end. You are yourself in the beginning and the end. If you are here and the self somewhere else, and you have to reach that self, you may be told how to start, how to travel, and then how to reach. Suppose you who are now in Ramana ashram ask, I want to go to Ramana ashram. How shall I start? And how to reach it? What is one to say? A person's search for the self is like that. They are always a self and nothing else. You say, who am I becomes a japa, a mantra. It is not meant that you should go on asking, who am I? Because in that case, thought will not so easily die. In the direct method, in asking yourself, "Who am I?" you were told to concentrate within yourself, where the I thought, the root of all other thoughts, arises. As the self is not outside, but inside you, you were asked to dive within, instead of going without. What can be more easy than going to yourself? But the fact remains that to some, this method will seem difficult and will not appeal. That is why so many different methods have been taught. Each of them will appeal to some as the best and easiest. That is according to their fitness. But to some, nothing except the path of inquiry will appeal. They will ask, "You want me to know or to see this or that, but who is the knower, the seer?" Whatever other method may be chosen, there will always be a doer. That cannot be escaped. One must find out who the doer is. Until then, the sadhana cannot be ended. So eventually, all must come to find out, who am I? You complain that there is nothing preliminary or positive to start with. You have the I to start with. You know you exist always, whereas the body does not exist always, for example, in sleep. Sleep reveals that you exist even without a body. We identify the I with a body. We regard the self as having a body and as having limits, and hence all our trouble. All that we have to do is to give up identifying the self with the body, with forms and limits, and then we shall know ourselves as a self that we always are. is the one supreme centre of the self. You need have no doubt about it. The real self is there in the heart, behind the jiva or ego self. But you cannot know it with your mind. You cannot realize it by imagination. When I tell you, here is the center, the only direct way to realize it is to cease to fantasize and try to be yourself. When you realize, you automatically feel that the center is there. This is the center, the heart, spoken of in the scriptures as the cavity of the heart. Grace, all the heart. But you should try to have rather than to locate the experience. A man need not find out where his eyes are situated when he wants to see. The heart is there, ever open to you, if you care to enter it, ever supporting all your movements, even when you are unaware. It is perhaps more proper to say that the self is the heart itself than to say that it is in the heart. Really, the self is the center itself. It is everywhere, aware of itself as heart, the self-awareness. Truly speaking, pure consciousness is indivisible. It is without parts. It has no form and shape, no within and no without. There is no right or left for it. Pure consciousness, which is the heart, includes all, and nothing is outside or apart from it. That is the ultimate truth. From this absolute standpoint, the heart, self, or consciousness can have no particular place assigned to it in the physical body. What is the reason? The body is itself a mere projection of the mind, and the mind is but a poor reflection of the radiant heart. How can that, in which everything is contained, be itself confined as a tiny part within the physical body, which is but an infinitesimal phenomenal manifestation of the one reality? But people do not understand this. They cannot help thinking in terms of the physical body and the world. For instance, you say, I have come to this ashram all the way from my country beyond the Himalayas. But that is not the truth. Where is coming, or going, or any movement whatever, for the one all-pervading spirit which you really are? You are where you have always been. It is your body that moved or was conveyed from place to place till it reached this ashram. This is a simple truth. But to a person who considers themselves as a subject living in an objective world, it appears as something altogether visionary. It is by coming down to the level of ordinary understanding that a place is assigned to the heart in the physical body. Once you accept that from the true and absolute standpoint, the heart as pure consciousness is beyond space and time, it will be easy for you to understand the rest in its correct perspective. You are the heart, and it is a fact. Meditation is by you, of you, and in you. It must go on where you are. It cannot be outside you. So you are the center of meditation, and that is the heart. Doubts arise only when you identify it with something tangible and physical. Heart is no conception, no object for meditation. but it is the seat of meditation. The self remains all alone. You see the body in the heart. The world is also in it. There is nothing separate from it. So all kinds of effort are located there only. The heart is not physical. Meditation should not be on the right or the left. Meditation should be on the self. Everyone knows I am. But who is the I? It will be neither within nor without, neither on the right nor on the left. I am. That is all. Leave alone the idea of right and left. They pertain to the body. The heart is the self. Realize it, and then you will see for yourself. There is no need to know where and what the heart is. It will do its work if you engage in the quest for the self. Only the quest, who am I, is necessary. What remains all through deep sleep and waking is the same. But in waking, there is unhappiness and the effort to remove it. Asked, who wakes up from sleep? You say, I. Now you are told to hold fast to this I. If it is done, the eternal being will reveal itself. Investigation of the I is the point, and not meditation on the heart center. There is nothing like within or without. Both mean either the same thing or nothing. Of course, there is also the practice of meditation on the heart center, but it is only a practice and not investigation. Only the one who meditates on the heart can remain aware when the mind ceases to be active and remains still. Whereas those who meditate on other centers cannot be so aware, but infer that the mind was still only after it becomes again active. In whatever place in the body one thinks self to be residing, due to the power of that thinking, it will appear to the one who thinks thus as if the self is residing in that place. However, the beloved heart alone is the refuge for the rising and subsiding of that I. Know that though it is said that the heart exists both inside and outside, in absolute truth, it does not exist both inside and outside, because the body, which appears as the base of the differences inside and outside, is an imagination of the thinking mind. Heart, the source, is the beginning, the middle, and the end of all. Heart, the supreme space, is never a form. It is the light of truth.